everyone in this room can build a freaking barbecue pit. I promise you.
Yeah.
Every one of us. But who's great at marketing that barbecue pit and who's good at the business side of it?
But I think your honesty in terms of how you got there is actually what people need to hear.
The countdown to FabTech is on. FabTech is the place to be for the latest and greatest technology, industry knowledge, networking, and more. Meet your favorite influencers, see live equipment demos, and make connections to advance your career. This is North America's largest metal forming, fabricating, welding, and finishing event, and you don't want to miss it. Register for free today at fabtechexpo.com, and I'll see you in Orlando. And now, back to the episode.
Hello, welcome to this episode of the Fabricator Podcast, starring non-Nepo babies.
Non-Nepo babies.
Dan Davis of the Fabricator, Lincoln Bruner of
the Tube and Pipe Journal and the Fabricator.
And the Fabricator. Today's guests are Chiasson and Miranda
Chiasson.
Chiasson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you scared me when you did that.
Sorry, I did not mean
They own Chiasson Smoke.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk to them about how they got their business rolling, what they're up to now, and some of the background in terms of not only their business, but how they came together and how they're pushing the business forward.
Well, their social media reach and
yes,
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an interesting conversation.
But it's interesting because they're kind of just figuring it out. They've only been around for 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Everything about their business is out on social media, so
They say they're just figuring things out, but they've got a lot of things figured out that a lot of people would love to have figured out already.
True.
Yeah, they kind of downplay like their business prowess, but it seems like they're kind of making the right choices. All right, enjoy this conversation with Chiasson and Miranda Chiasson from Chiasson Smoke. Goodbye.
It's almost time to celebrate manufacturing's finest contributors at the annual Nuts, Bolts, and Thingamajigs Awards Gala. This fun and exciting evening supports the next generation of manufacturers by raising funds for scholarships and educational programs. Help build tomorrow's skilled workforce by attending or participating in the online silent auction. Bid on artwork and other unique items throughout the evening from anywhere. Get all the details at fmamfg.org. And now, back to the episode.
Welcome back to the Fabricator Podcast. I'm Dan Davis with Lincoln Bruner, and today speaking with Chiasson and Miranda of Chiasson Smoke. And I got that right, didn't I?
You sure did.
Okay, thank you very much. They got a great story about not only their business, but also media. I'm a little rom-com guy, so I want to hear about that too. But they do some not only great work in terms of metal fabrication, but also running their business, which I think is going to be kind of fun, particularly in what they do on the social media side of things. So, Chiasson, Miranda, tell me how the business got started and what you're all about.
Whoa, where do we go from here, huh? So it started just something her and we've always been kind of like entrepreneurs, kind of like always wanted to do something. I'm not going to tell you all the little things we've tried in Louisiana to start up, but I was making custom spurs. That's what I was doing. That's how we got into the whole CNC plasma cutting. We bought a CNC, it was a 2x2, right?
2x2 Torchmate.
Torchmate. And I was making spurs, so I would draw out these spur shank profiles. And this is Montana, right?
Yeah.
And
what year?
This is 2010.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
When we bought that, I think
we did not know what we were doing.
No idea. Didn't have this thing didn't have torch eye control. We had no idea what we were doing, but I was profiling everything by hand, making all these shanks, cutting things out with the oxyacetylene, and then I'm just profiling these spur shanks. And then Miranda would usually drill holes for me, and then would cut slots, hand filing rowels, bending, TIG welding the shanks on.
Mm-hmm.
So that was our like intro to that, right?
Was that big horse territory out there?
Yeah. And we were team ropers. Like we would would go to team ropings.
We worked on a ranch. It was a ranch.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'd go to competitions, team roping. We'd bring some spurs. We'd sell them. We'd get laid off in the wintertime. The only job we had in the wintertime was feeding horses. So we would do a little bit of our work feeding horses. But then the owner of the ranch was like, man, you have access to the shop. Go in there and do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I'd go in the shop and I'd build spurs. And then we had the opportunity to move to New Mexico. We moved to New Mexico. We lived in Hobbs for a little while. We set up our...
There.
Huh?
I don't want to live there.
Unfortunately, we've just brought on the New Mexico Chamber of Convention and Tourism as a sponsor. We apologize.
We moved to Hobbs and did a little bit of stuff there. Hobbs wasn't for us.
Apparently not.
No.
And
No, it wasn't.
had an opportunity to go back to Louisiana and get back into the oil field. And that's what we decided to do. Started a family. We were in Louisiana for a while. Had money saved up. We had bought a house, done some other things. The opportunity came up on her family's farm.
In Blue River?
In Blue River.
Yeah.
Okay.
Her dad sold his business. And now there's this dormant building, basically. I say a building.
Storage building.
It was a little storage shed. We had talked about doing things on our own and wanting to do something, get back into the CNC stuff, start doing spurs. Long story short, we moved to Wisconsin. We start our little shop. We start doing spurs again. We start making spurs.
Then it went on to smokers and
That's a natural
railings
jump.
And yeah.
Well, I couldn't sell them. I mean, I wasn't a very good silver guy. I could make some nice spurs, but then when it came to the silver work, that's where the artistry comes in, and that's where guys make money with their spurs, and I just wasn't that
we
guy.
weren't efficient. It just wasn't.
Yeah. So we'd sell some spurs, and everything was going good. Then I got into smoking meats, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna build a smoker. I'm gonna want to build my own smoker. So I built my first offset. And then it was a brother-in-law that actually came, and we smoked meat. We smoked some meats on there. He's like, "Dude, build me one."
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, "Okay, yeah." So
Nice to get that affirmation. You're
Yeah.
smoking
So-
meats and you get that. Yeah.
we didn't have enough money to buy material, so he gave us a down payment. So it was like, okay, ordered material, built it. He bought it, brought it home. 3 weeks later, one of his friends called and said wanted us to build one. And the funny thing about that is when his friend called me, I was about to go back to Louisiana and go back
Yeah,
to
we
work.
were about to quit the whole business.
We were about to shut the whole business down.
No kidding.
We were 3 years in. Yeah.
You're that
So what
close.
year was that?
2000.
We're at 18.
We're 24 right now, so that was 20.
2020.
Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
2020.
Wow.
It was right before COVID.
And did he pick up from there? Did
Well,
it word of
We
mouth?
started posting videos on social media.
2020.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we were like, you know what? We got to do something
Yeah.
because
She didn't want me to start posting.
I did it at first because when I thought of TikTok, it was like people dancing and like
Right.
doing silly stuff.
Right. Well,
But
a lot of it is.
really, small businesses have done very well through social media. I mean, it's free advertising, So we started.
So what were some of the early videos you posted?
Our first, I looked it up last night. Our first ever video on social media was, I forget the name of the song, but it was our 4x4 delusional design CNC plasma table.
Just a bolt together table.
Like a bolt to get. That's what we started
That's
with.
what we got when we.
And that was, so we started
Moved to
posting
Wisconsin.
those types of videos, and they didn't do well. They were just
Yeah.
terrible. Nobody, like, even to this day, it's very hard to get a lot of views on a video that's like welding commercially style.
Did you try dancing?
Dancing works.
We did try, yeah.
No, you did not.
Yeah, we got some views on dancing videos.
Millions.
Millions.
Yeah. So we were talking about the smoker, and so he ordered one,
Word of mouth, basically.
and I said,
We started
Miranda.
selling more of them.
So I pissed off my old boss because he had pulled some strings to get me back on. You know, and he was expecting us to come, and then I get this order in, and the guy was going to pay up front, and it's like,
Okay.
Miranda, we got to do this. She's like, okay, but what? I was like, I'm going to start posting videos on social media. And she's like, no, you can't do it. Well, I had got a local job. I was installing some handrails for a local guy, and his staircase was this. It was like a spiral. So I'm like, how do I achieve this? I don't have the tools for this, right? So I'm doing research and stuff, and I'm like, okay, Harbor Freight tubing roller,
Yeah.
and
How
the
cheap
swag.
can we do it?
Yeah, swag off road. The swag off road kit. Right? They have a DIY kit, you know. So I order that stuff. I build it and I practice at the shop. I'm like, holy cow! I can make all these radiuses. It's not easy, but I can get it done. So I'm on location. I'm by myself. I'm installing, and it came out slick. I mean, they came out beautiful when it was all said and done. But I'm in the process, and the first video I ever posted on social media, not that did well and kind of got some attention, was I'm like, guys, don't skip out on these Harbor Freight tubing rollers. They can make you a little bit of money, you know? And I'm showing, and it blew up because of the sheetrock job that was going on at the same time. Because it was a construction project, you know. So, the sheetrock work was terrible. Like you couldn't even, and it blew up. So it went out because people were like, "Oh my God, I've never seen a sheetrock job so bad." But what it did is it pushed the video out, so a lot of people saw my work, and then they saw me and they saw what we were doing. So
it looked even better compared to the sheetrock work. Like, wow, that's a really good handrailer.
Yeah,
That's
so that
crazy.
that was like the first video where we started getting like comments, a few followers. I remember when we hit 10,000 followers.
Yeah.
That was like such a big deal for us, man, because I mean, it was
So did you see like business pick up a little bit?
not necessarily at
No,
that
when we
point.
started posting, we build rocket stoves.
Yeah,
you know? So that's really what we're known for, the rocket stove. Jason's a rocket stove man or whatever. But that's when we started posting about the rocket stoves. We had a controversial video go out, whether you paint the rocket stove or not. And people just had to chime in like, you can powder coat it, you can do that. And like, no, powder coat doesn't work. It doesn't hold up to the heat, you know. So it was a big controversial video. Next thing you know, we're getting orders in left and right like crazy. Like, I want a rocket stove, I want a rocket stove, I want a rocket stove.
We woke up in the middle of the night, our phones are going off, and so like I'm like, Miranda, you know, imagine you're in bed, your phones are ding ding ding.
We think like someone scammed
I'm
our
like, Miranda,
accounts.
did we
what
get
just
hacked?
happened?
What is going on? What is going on? We sold 150 rocket stoves in one night. So now here we are. We wake up
Yeah.
and we're like,
I guess we're in business.
Yeah.
what do we do now?
So that's how social media, we knew the more we post.
That's when it started, and
we
then
were
it
like,
just put.
we
It
can
just lit
sell
the fire.
products. So then we
Yeah.
started doing like live, you know, in front of people, live content, talking about our products. People would buy them. Every time we went live, we'd make a lot of sales. So we just started just putting our
became-
content and our products out more.
So
in
with
front
the
of people.
audience finding you and now realizing that you have to kind of put the content out there, do you get more engagement on a regular basis?
Yeah.
I mean, that audience is there kind of waiting to see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. We've got very, very loyal followers, but yet we're always
and they've
hitting new people all daily.
they've seen our story from like the very beginning.
Right.
And they've watched us grow throughout the years, and they're just like, wow, like you inspire us. They want to start a business. You've inspired me to leave my job and open my shop finally. Like they really feel like
I try to text them and be like, man, hold up.
Yeah. You don't know how quick,
Yeah.
you don't know how close we were to hanging it all up.
Oh yeah, and we talk about
we
that.
talk- we
We're
talked about that
very
story.
humble. You know, we tell everybody about the ups and downs and working together. I mean, we work side by side every day,
Yeah.
husband and wife. So
Yeah.
So what's,
that can be a
what's an
challenge.
average day like in the shop?
Morning meeting starts at 6:00. Everybody's around, basically just plan out our day and whatever, whatever's going on. It's usually we have we call it like our product line, where it's basically our rocket stove, collapsible fire pits.
signs.
Well, our signs is kind of its own little department, but
yeah. We powder coat and cut all our signs. We have 2 plasma tables that we run that we are transitioning I think we're going laser.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
wow, that's
So
exciting.
That'll be coming hopefully before our Christmas rush because
Yeah.
it gets. We'll have like 16 to 20 employees in the shop.
No
Christmas
kidding.
rush, yeah.
Wow. How
We
many
were
do you have
hoping to
now?
cut that down this year.
Yeah, we hope to
8.
cut it down with the laser and the
Yeah.
cleanup, and we had a lot of people just cleaning parts off the plasma tables.
Yeah.
So that was
Secondary operations like
just-
deburring, things like that.
Yeah,
How many people do you have in the shop now?
8 full time, and then we have 4 high school kids that work there for the summer.
Oh wow.
yeah, they help clean parts.
No, but in the shop, so like Colton is my main guy in the shop. He's our lead. So everyone kind of goes to we kind of like set up stations. We have these 5x5 fab tables that we have, and they have a welding machine. They have their parts showing up. What we basically do on like the rocket stoves is we just make the kit. We sell DIY kits, and so we make the kits. So our shelves are full of the kits, and then Jenna, we need 12 4-inchers today. Abby, can you get 9 6-inchers done today? So everybody gets lined up on the production side of it. We need these charcoal chimneys. Don't forget to get some burger smashers, Dakota. And then there's the fab side. All right, we got the pellet smokers. We need 3 of these. Ran through the press brake today. We got a custom order on a reverse flow. We need to do this. And then like right now we got like 2 railing jobs going on. We've got a big mezzanine project going on, local stuff. And so it's trying to line that out and manage all of that stuff.
So what is the average product mix, like fabricating activity? Is it primarily kind of what you call like the product line stuff, or do you do kind of the other job shop type thing?
It's other jobs. I mean,
We're all over. the board.
our goal, like in morning meeting, I'm like, guys, remember, let's get so far ahead on product line because I need to pull some of them welders onto our side.
Yeah.
Because we do drive up repairs every day. So like people drive in with product
A lot
or
of farmers.
with like some repairs or something like that. So then you get pulled away from whatever you're doing, and
You can spend a whole day on a trailer. I mean,
we're really trying to set it up to get way more efficient as far as like having these little stations is what I call it, to where you know what you're doing over there, you know what you're doing over there. Someone drives up, Colton's able to just go out there. We keep the 255 there, so if we need to switch to aluminum to repair a trailer or whatever. And then you got the signs, and then she does all the design work on the signs, and then that goes to another CNC table. They cut that out, prep that stuff, powder coat that stuff, and then goes to shipping.
Okay.
It's just
Shipping's a busy place.
shipping's busy.
Is that hard being rural? That shipping and getting stuff in and out efficiently.
It's not too bad. I find like our UPS truck. Excuse me. The UPS driver backs right up to a door and loads up. And it comes every single day, Monday through Friday.
And being the
Freight's a little bit of the issue with there's
Freight,
there's the dynamic of limited access.
Dead end. We are on a dead end road.
We're on a dead end road,
So
there's a little extra charging there. So there's a lot of things that we're working on with our freight side to try to get our freight a little more competitive. As far as.
But we get a lot of trucks in. I mean, steel trucks and deliveries and.
So you're sending stuff all over the place.
Wow. All over the country.
No
I want to, before I forget, I want to go back to the origin of your name, Chiasson Smoke. How did that come about?
Okay, so it was our brother-in-law. So when we team roped all the time, when like we were on the road, like that was our passion. We were gonna be not professional team ropers, but we were gonna make a living team roping. Every time we go to a competition, they'd always say Jason and Miranda Chiasson. Chasing. So it was always chasing. Jason and Miranda chasing. No matter where we were at, that's how they would say it. Except, obviously, when we were in Louisiana, they know how to say our name. But unless you're from Baton Rouge.
Unless you're from Baton Rouge, thank you.
And so when we were doing it, it's like, okay, we're doing smokers, we're doing fire pits, we're doing rocket stoves. Everything we're building is kind of related to that outdoor lifestyle. These heavy duty.
So long story short,
I was like
Smoke
Chiasson
came
Smoke.
up.
That's it. So it was
Chiasson Smoke is what we
God.
thought people would say.
Sure.
Chiasson Smoke because
There you go.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
it's Chiasson Smoke. We have to. Everybody wants to know how. To
Right,
say
right.
it, but everybody assumes it's Chiasson Smoke, which
Did
is
you
good,
actually-
which we kind of wanted. But
Yeah. Did you use that name while you were team roping?
Jason?
No,
Chiasson?
Chase on
Yeah.
Smoke.
No,
Or Chase
we-
on
No,
Smoke.
no.
No.
Okay, that was after
this,
then.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't do this till 2020. It was like 2020.
yeah,
Okay.
Before that, we didn't even have a website. Those
It's
are
like
some of the
selling off
reasons.
eBay.
Like I look back on it now, those are some of the reasons I was going back to work and why our shop was failing.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have a website. We had no social media presence. I just thought if I built it, look how nice these welds are.
Right.
Somebody's gonna buy it. Well, nobody's gonna buy it if they don't know it's there to be bought. you
Right.
know?
You don't know what
And
you don't know.
Yeah.
You both have like pathways that lead through technical like schools. Why don't y'all go into like how y'all got on this path to not only being comfortable around fabricating but also meeting, because it seems like that kind of ties in together.
Well, we met in Montana,
yeah.
but
we
did
met-
you were a welder, and Miranda, what about you?
but I wasn't a welder.
wasn't a welder,
I wasn't
no.
a
Oh, you did-
welder.
Okay.
He was like cowboying.
I was a cowboy, son. I was.
Cowboy.
They used to call me the doctor because I could heal real good, and that was one of the.
He was a cowboy.
And that was our dream. That was our passion. That's
Yeah.
why I left. I mean, I had mechanic background,
Oh, okay, mechanic then.
which you took welding, and we
Yeah.
were always you were always welding. I don't know a diesel mechanic that can't weld, to be honest with you.
Right.
And you're always fabricating. You might be building something to mount a vacuum pump to the side of a truck. You're always fabricating something.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that. I was real into the whole, like that lifestyle of ranch life.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I know how to weld. And I was like, I'm gonna build these spurs. And
Okay.
then she was like, well, I'm pretty good with a computer. I'm like, man, how much faster would it be if we can cut these things out with CNC?
I was just self-taught. Like I
Okay.
just figured it out. I just tried.
Yeah.
Like I'm not SolidWorks. He's SolidWorks, but I can do the 2D stuff just fine.
Right,
so I
right,
do
right.
most of that stuff.
So why were you in Montana?
So when I was going to school at the technical college, I was like, you know what? I just want to go somewhere else for the summer. I was into horses. I did all the rodeo type stuff growing up. So I applied to a ranch in Montana and got the job and went there. And then Jason came along.
Ah.
And then we, rest is history.
Wow.
You started chasing each other.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's not
but
true either. I was her boss. And,
Oh, okay. All right.
here we
and it
go.
was
This just gets
yeah.
more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting in the beginning for sure. And then,
I'm just gonna leave it open here and just let y'all
Nah,
talk to
they-
each other.
No.
well, I had worked there. In 2001 at the ranch. It's Averil's Flathead Lake Lodge. If you ever want to look up the most
It's a really nice dude
the
ranch.
most
Very
beautiful
impressive
resort
place.
dude ranch in the world, look up Big Fork, Montana.
They're one
Averil's,
of the top ranches in the nation.
And-
It's a very nice place.
and where was I at about us?
You
meeting?
went.
So I ended up back.
You're all over.
Then after Hurricane Katrina, all the P&A work in the Gulf was just there.
Yeah.
And one of the guys I was riding one of his horses. He owned Seaboard. They didn't own. He was a manager for Seaboard International. And I was riding one of his horses one time in his round pen, and he had pulled up to the round pen, and he said, and his name's Paul Horton, and he's got the most deep Texan accent, and I still tell the story like this. He said, I can't even try to do it. Said, you want to make some real money, boy? And I'm like, what you mean, Paul? He said, come work for me, son. He said, you can make some real money. I said, well, hell, let's do it. And he, about 3 weeks, just teaching me about wellhead, sitting in his office all day, just looking at flanges. Because he's like, before I let you loose, you got to be able to identify a flange, how many bolt holes, all of this stuff. What kind of valve is that? That a Cameron valve? Yeah, how do you repair that? So there was just this intense training. And then he put me about 2 weeks with another guy offshore. And we just did, we did a lot of completion work and ended up in the wellhead. Long story short, all of this stuff happens. I'm sitting in a room just like this with a bunch of TV screens, ROV operators around me, and we're P&A in wells. We're sharing wells. I'm offshore 80, 90 days at a time, doing all this P&A work, putting our well heads on top of we wet and cake the casing, put our well heads on there, everything, start pumping cement, P&A in all these wells, right? And they call me, Flathead Lake Lodge calls me and says, hey, the barn manager position just opened up. We think you'd be a good fit. Do you want it? I said, absolutely. Because, I was making money,
And
but
then he saw me riding in the riding the whole.
So
And how could he stay offshore on a platform when you're?
Yeah, so I called the office. I said, hey, y'all need to get a chopper, or I need to get on the next chopper. I'm going back in. What you mean? Well, I'm like, oh, Paul, he was, what you mean? So I'm going back to Montana, Paul. Oh, I can't believe. Anyway, got back to the dock. Got back, and I went straight to Montana. And I'll never forget when I pulled up to the ranch. Miranda was actually heading to steer as I pulled up. I didn't know who she was at the time, but that was
future wife.
You found out.
Future wife, yeah.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Had no idea.
And so when the opportunity came to move back to Wisconsin, what are you thinking at this point? Like you've been all over the country at this point. It was just sort of like, sure, no problem, or was it?
Well, things were a little different now because now we started a family.
Right.
We had a baby, and then Miranda just got pregnant again, and we weren't sure. We were like, how'd that happen? And
Oh my God.
Doggone it anyhow. They didn't tell us about this.
yeah,
Well, when we moved up, she was 3, and then I was pregnant. So they're like 4 years apart.
but what
It
I
just,
was finding,
happened.
I didn't like the life. So with
Working for the man, someone else, every day,
For any man.
any man.
well, I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing.
No,
Yeah, right.
but the going to work every day.
Like if we wanted to go eat at a restaurant, because you're on call, 24-hour call, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So if we had to go eat at a restaurant, like I'd have to take a company truck, my company truck, and she would drive there too, in case I would get called out,
Sure.
And there was leniencies here or there, but
You're expected to show up
Oh
if
yeah,
you
you
get
had
called.
to. Yeah, you had to go. And I didn't want it. I didn't like being on call anymore. I just didn't. And when this opportunity came up, I said, well, fortunately, because of our situations in Louisiana, our jobs, we were making decent money. There was nothing. We bought a house. We had, I was like, we sell the house. We got some money built up in there. We got a little bit to stack on. We get up to Wisconsin, go on the old farm. We want our kids to grow up on that lifestyle. We want them to grow up doing this. Like it seemed like a win-win to me. Everything I said is not really true. She pretty much said she told me all of that stuff, and I was like, no, I don't know if I want to live in Wisconsin, but then I agreed to it. So that's and so we ended up in Wisconsin, and been there ever since, and almost left Wisconsin.
Sure. Sounds like you were within days of.
Oh yeah, it was done. I was.
Yeah. You were expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was 100%. Like
Yeah.
I pissed off a whole boss. I burned.
Yeah.
I don't know if I burned the bridge.
Has he ordered a
But-
man from you?
No,
No.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm guessing maybe you burned the bridge.
not even a sign. Man, just get a 12-inch monogram sign or something.
Something. Just to tell me that we're
Well,
still simpatico here. What's this?
Like,
Yeah.
I got hats and T-shirts. Man. But that's one of those choices a man makes in his life. That, as what's the right decision.
Right.
And I'm glad we did what we did, or
Yeah.
the decision that was made.
So are you enjoying what's happening now? I mean, it's a different type of stress, I'd imagine.
Yeah, the learning process has to happen a lot faster. Like it can't. I'm very, like I'm all nonsense. I'm an all nonsense guy, but at the same time, 100% no nonsense. Like I don't. It's it's fun to joke around and stuff as long as things are happening. They're happening right.
What's it like working together?
Gosh, we've been together for so long. It's just I don't like it when she's not around, if that makes any sense.
It does.
So she does all.
We're a good team, but we complement each other.
Well, I like
think
someone
in
to
the
argue
business.
with, and she's a good. Like it's good to
Yeah.
argue with her.
I'm a good arguer.
Well, you got to learn to fight fair.
Yeah.
If I can play
Well,
Dr. Phil right now.
If your marriage is strong enough where it's good to fight, you're okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna be all right. So I got a question about your design work.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're doing that, I mean, you said you're basically self-taught. What do you find pleasure and enjoyment in the whole design phase of it?
I think it's just laying out signs, like talking to the customer, seeing what they want. They want a tree, a dog, a peacock over there, whatever. We can do that and balance the sign out, make it look good, and it, send proofs back and forth, make sure they love it, and it usually turns out pretty well, pretty good.
She just finished one the other day, sent to a guy in Louisiana. This thing was beautiful. I mean, as simple as a single layer 2D sign could be.
Yeah, he wanted moss trees and crabs and crawfish and a pelican and Moss Lake.
It's not like Noah's
It was
Ark
Moss
down in
Lake.
Louisiana.
Literally Moss Lake on the sign. The shape of Moss Lake, all the little, it's a weird shaped lake, but it was on the sign.
You designed all that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
and
You have a
some
picture of it?
fish and all kinds of stuff on the sign, and it was for his camp.
But when people talk to me about that stuff, I'm like, man, that's too big. Like, what you want to do with all that? and then she puts it in. Like,
Don't
I
go
mean,
talking your
No,
customers out of orders.
sometimes
But I do. Maybe I think that's why some guys like me. I tell them like, no, man, don't buy that. That's crazy. But she, when it's all said and done, and I walk into the sign room and it's hanging up powder coated, I'm like, holy crap,
Yeah.
that's a cool sign.
Yeah.
He could put a wood back to whatever he wanted to do. I was like, that's really unique. That is a 100%. That's the custom thing about what we're doing.
Yeah, and that's all cut with plasma table?
Plasma.
Yeah.
yeah.
And you're doing that apparently for more and more customers, right?
Yeah, we stay pretty busy in the sign shop. They reach out via email for custom stuff. I mean, we offer generic sign, like the monogram signs and the welcome to the farm and the fire pit signs, all that type generic signs. But
That every that every sign shop, like, we offer that.
but
too,
we do a lot of client communications via emails and website and.
Will the laser change the dynamic in terms of how those signs are produced? And I guess other stuff will be cut on there as well.
Everything's gonna be.
Yeah, are you going to have
I'm
to do as much
thinking,
post-process cleaning?
We have some cut files like for our rocket stoves that will take 3 to 4 hours to cut, because it's 3/16 and it's 60 some inches per minute, where it's gonna definitely speed up.
Yeah. And that's carbon steel, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
What is your time frame in terms of getting the laser in there?
We should have it around September.
September.
Oh, wow. That's exciting.
And a
How-
tube. We get in a tube laser too.
Get out of here.
Okay.
Wow.
Because
We like
so
that.
yeah, right now our rocket stoves are obviously they're 4-inch square tubing, 6-inch, and up to 8 now possibly. We don't know if we're gonna launch 8-inch rocket stoves yet, but we source out our tubes to be lasered. We
Okay.
were cutting them, like we started cutting rocket stoves with cutoff wheels and bandsaw, and then it went from bandsaw to plasma table. We set up a jig and cut out the openings, and then they go back to the bandsaw and have to be cut again. And then after the
press.
Christmas rush, which we sold a lot of rocket stoves, the amount of labor we needed, it just wasn't making sense. Like the product was taking way too long to.
People
fulfill.
are hard enough to find.
But then we outsource then to a tube laser.
When it comes to your smokers, how long have you been doing the pellet smoker?
We just started the pellets, and when you're not smart like me, and you have ideas, like my ideas are just I realize I gotta find the right people to help me implement, like to get them in action,
Right.
get them moving, right? So Pellet Pro, they already kind of have the hoppers, and they've done the legwork on getting their controllers right and stuff like that. So I'm just building chambers and then putting on their hoppers.
Okay.
and in the process of getting our own branded, like this is my hopper.
Yeah.
There's a few things I want to change about these hoppers that I think would just make them a lot better. But
Well,
so that's,
people who buy those swear by them. I mean,
Yeah.
my father has
and they're
one.
good. I mean, I owned 2 of them for a year and just used them and just wanted to make sure. Read reviews, other companies that were using them, small companies like ours, you know, like, okay, I'll stand behind these guys. And I talk to them on the phone not every day, but we built a relationship and like, okay, I'll put my name with you guys on these, just, you know how that goes.
And that works for them too because of your social media following, I'd imagine.
Yep.
Yeah.
As opposed to maybe they wouldn't do that for just anyone.
500,000 TikTok followers that people like to be a part of that all day.
But I want to be part, like, I had to make sure it was going to work for us too, you know. Obviously, when you start looking at the business side of things, if we can make our own, you know, get our prices down just to produce the product, it would be better. But right now, our foot's in the door. We're going to get them out there and start where we're at. And as time goes on, we're kind of developing our own thing that we'll put on
It
there.
seems like y'all have a very good idea of how to perfect an idea and then work it into a production type of mindset. I mean, with rocket stoves and with the signs, it seems like you just found a knack of, you know, for making an idea work better and better. Is that fair to say?
I really think, like, that's the part I like about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoy building things with my hands. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy all of that stuff. But then when it comes to, like, the business side of it, and then you think of, you know, you start thinking of, like, the market share. How many people will buy a rocket stove? And it's like, there's a lot of people that will, okay, well, there's not a lot of competition out there. You got a few Chinese ones. Well, I know those are crap because I bought one and I used them. So how do I let people know about what I'm doing and how do I be competitive? Well, being competitive, what I've learned on the scale of things, we're down here. We're handrails and barbecue pits, right? We're here. We're not up here building bridges and robots yet. You know, we're doing our thing down here.
Sure.
And within that, it's not so much that I need to see what my competitors are doing, but if I do find my competitors and he's selling something for this price, undercutting the price is no benefit to me. My job is to get into the shop and say, is there some tooling that can make this faster? Is there some tools that can make this better? Cut my labor costing down. If I buy more steel at once, will I get am I paying less by a pound? How can I be the competition? Not by prices. We all got the same price, but I can make more on my end because I'm getting my processes down.
Right.
And I could stay in business longer.
Right.
Yeah.
So
That's a good goal.
that's what I'm trying to really focus on.
You're making yourself more efficient. You're making yourself better, and it frees up hours to do other things as well, right?
100%.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
And I've just really learned how tools. We started cut-off wheels. I mean, it was cut-off wheels with rocket stove, you know. Now it's all sourced. I mean, our tubes come in perfectly cut, no drilling, no steps.
Yeah, and when we were doing it plasma, it's very dirty. You know,
Yeah.
your tubes are full of the
So you got to clean all
yeah.
that.
So we're hiring people, you know, at that time to just wire brush and hand brush out all the tube soot, you know, from the plasma. Is that what you call it, soot or something? I don't know.
Frost, slag,
well, that
whatever.
smoke, yeah, you know, that discoloration and
Just the plasma dust in general.
so then even when we had a DIY kit, which was basically all the parts of the rocket stove in a box, here you go. You can order it. You can weld it at home, do it yourself. Well, there was so much labor into just cleaning all that up.
Oh, for something that was even DIY, right?
You're right. Because we clean everything, we bend everything for them. They literally just weld it together. And now that we have gone to laser tube, we can just grab them out the box and put them in the box, you know, to ship because there's no cleanup on that.
You still get a lot of DIY kit business?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Especially with Christmas time coming up and stuff.
yeah,
That's cool.
a lot of parents just want to weld with their kids, and you know it's a great project.
Yeah.
And you can use it at the end of the day. You can
Right.
cook a meal.
Kids,
can
we're
use
having
sticks.
brisket tonight.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't do a
not
brisket,
on
but
not on the rocket stove, but
I'm sorry. That's. I don't know why I'm laughing so hard at that.
The man speaks
I
from
wouldn't do a
experience.
brisket on a rocket stove, but do whatever you
We
want.
don't have
to be honest with you.
DIY smokers. No, we're not. We haven't gotten that.
Got a
But
lot of people ask, but guy, our smoker. So our smoker is hexagon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
press brake,
Oh wow.
I used to weld these together with
panel by panel,
panel by panel, and I'd weld every seam.
every seam.
And and our competition is doing. That's how they're still doing it. I'm like, well, I need a press brake,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and because that's how I can make a better end product.
Yeah.
And so we got a press brake, and then we need this, and I'm just constantly just looking at the process. Our
Cut your part count way down.
yeah.
Do you have enough room for all this equipment?
Well, we're thinking
We
about.
we have the room, but it's tight.
We just added on, man. It's about time to add on again. To be honest with you, because like even our shipping, our boxes.
Yeah, we got pallets and pallets of boxes.
Yeah.
they're
Because-
custom boxes to
Yeah.
like our 6-inch rocket stoves ship, but they are 78 pounds.
Wow.
So
Okay.
you really got to have like a great
box.
packaging.
Yeah.
Great packaging for something that heavy.
You don't go to
And-
the post office and get the free boxes.
At least not anymore.
Don't laugh too hard because that's how I used to do it in the olden days. I call it about 5 years ago, the olden days. But I mean, we just didn't know. Like we 100% learned as we are learning as we go.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Because we really do live in the middle of nowhere. There's no cell service. We have Wi-Fi. We have fiber optic. That's great. So we can survive.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
we can post our videos and market our company. But
Fiber optic cell phones have a limited range.
yeah, right. So we're making a go at it in the middle of nowhere. But
Yeah. What kind of advice would you have for like maybe another young couple starting out or individual starting out with their own business?
Guys, so this is a weird. You gotta have the skills, right? That's a given. Like that's no duh. Like and that usually it takes time to build those skills, and it's usually you have to work for other people to get those skills. So once you know you have the skill and you know you can do whatever it is, you've got to learn business because that's what's holding us back. I think we could be further along
Yeah.
if we knew everybody can build a rocket stove, everybody can build a fire pit, everybody can run a CNC plasma table, anybody can run a press brake. You're not. Most guys can learn how to weld and weld decently.
Yeah.
So you're not changing the world like you would think for your business of what you're doing. Like learn business, man.
and
like,
marketing.
because they don't teach that. Nobody.
Social
teaches
media is a free way to advertise you and your product.
Marketing.
And
But that's part of the business.
yeah, it is part of the business.
But even there, you had to kind of learn. It wasn't
Yes.
until you hit
Yeah.
that right connection. I'm not
Oh,
even
and then
sure
they
you
got
realize.
this whole thing. They just started, I think, taxes. I think they just started that stuff. And you gotta pay those things, and you gotta figure that out.
It's a new thing, but it's wise to learn
Yeah,
it. Yes.
yeah. Oh, then you hire people, and there's so much on the business side that from my experience, I run into guys that are skilled. Them guys could do this and that, but they're gonna be an employee their whole life, and it's true. Like I didn't want to be an employee my whole life, and when you are an employee your whole life, you can find the right company and you can be happy, and you find the right place that takes care of you. That's awesome, but it's not. I feel like that's few and far between. Most guys want to end up, when you have those skill sets, most guys want to end up on their own,
Yeah.
and they don't learn business. There should be a class at the Fabricator magazine where you do a welding program, but then you also learn business side. Like, hey, this is how you do this. This is how you do that. Marketing and advertising is like your number one deal, and that's one thing I did not understand.
Yeah.
Well, we have a columnist for Tube and Pipe Journal, which I edit, that she's all about marketing, making sure you're staying on top of that as a small business person, because it's critically important to keep business coming in that you may not you probably wouldn't do otherwise.
Someone getting upset in the shop because something isn't right, whatever it may be. It's like, well, dude, we've got to focus more on our marketing because you won't even have this problem if we can't keep making sales. So, like, we want to solve this problem, marketing. But you don't understand, for a blue-collar guy like me that came up, like, that is not something guys think about. They think about being the best welder, right? Or being the best at whatever skill they're doing. And then they do what I did. They got their little garage, and they're going to drink their cup of coffee, open the door in the morning. Imagine the sun hitting you. It's like, I'm the best welder. Look at this beautiful stuff. And then they're going to go sit down, and nobody's going to come and be like crickets. That's what I did. And
very peaceful sounding.
It's beautiful, yeah. Great.
There you go.
Oh,
Until
yeah.
it's not.
And then you're like, oh, we need groceries. Well, hold on now.
But look at all these beautiful weldments that I made.
Yeah. Yes.
Hey, do y'all still have time to ride or do the team roping stuff?
Not very often anymore, but we'll get back to it.
Y'all have horses?
Yeah, we still have horses.
Okay.
My old heel horse, she sold her good head horse.
Oh,
We have a little pony.
We have a little pony.
Okay.
Kids mess around with.
Wow. How many acres you got?
80 acres.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
Yeah.
You got a name for your, is it a ranch? Do I call it a ranch?
No, so it's a
Homestead?
it's a very weird dynamic. So we rent a small part of her dad's land.
Oh, okay.
So it's not even our land. It's her
Yeah.
dad's land.
Gotcha.
And we get to fish on it. We get to take care of it, and then we just leased a small part. But what's really exciting, I got to tell you about her dad. Can I tell you all about her
Go
dad?
ahead.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
So her dad invented a machine called the chopper spotter. If you met her dad, he's a very intelligent man. He thinks he's different, I should say, but he's smart.
It's different.
Okay, and he invented a machine. It's called the chopper spotter. He ran the chopper spotter for 25 years. Held the patent on it for 25 years. And what it is, it's a machine that goes underneath. It goes underneath helicopters, and then they pick them up, and then it's
Hydraulic
remote
lifts.
hydraulic.
No
Because her
kidding.
dad had a little welding shop.
Huh.
And he invented all of this stuff. Ran that
Just
business.
that one thing. Just that one stuff.
That's one stuff. Good.
No.
One stuff. But it's just really cool. He ran that business for 25 years, and it was just like he says all the time. He talks like it was different for him. He had a very niche specific deal. Like you just had to put an ad in the
Rotor and Wing.
a Rotor and Wing magazine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's where everybody was anyway that was
Right.
going to buy that type of tool. And the dynamic's totally different. He outsourced everything. A guy built his frames for him. A guy did this. So it was a very different thing from what we're doing. But he's like, man, I wish I would never sold chopper spotter because you guys could build it for me. And we could have, but it's, there was a point I wanted to make with this, and this is my problem.
Can't read your mind.
I can't,
Tell 'em
talking
that.
about her dad. Oh, the property, right? So he has this little shop, and I'm like, well, her dad. I'm like, well, Miranda, your dad just sold this property. Maybe he'll give us a little business loan or something to kind of get started. Oh no, that dude's hard, bro. He's like, oh, no.
Forget it.
Oh yeah. But that little thing right there, and I talk to a lot of people too on the phone that get these little opportunities. Like, well, my grandmother has a little shop behind her house. She said I can use it, or most guys have some sort of a garage, and for us, that was like that little opportunity. Her dad's like, I have that old shed, and it was 20 by 30 is what we were. That's what we started in with a 4x4 CNC plasma table.
Wow.
And he said, if y'all want to do it. So we started making spurs. Didn't work. But it's really fun because now her dad walks around and he's like, holy cow. He's like, I never thought it would get to this, and he's like, hey, we need to add on buildings. We're going to add on buildings and we're going to make it work. And it's like,
Well, that's awesome. You're going to be able to make it work there at that location.
make it work
That's
there.
awesome.
Yeah.
Good for you.
That's
We'll
awesome.
see.
He won't pay for it, but
No, that's okay. That's
been
fine.
trying to get him to like,
We're
but-
doing it organically. I mean, we're very organically growing this.
Yeah.
business. Like,
Right.
And that's
You're
what's
doing-
made it slow. Because some guys like, wait, 6 years, and you're only this. But it's
Well,
like,
you don't
man,
want debt. You don't want to.
no,
Be, but yeah.
no.
I don't think that's another business advice is don't
Right.
get into debt right away
And get rid of all your debt before you even start anything
before you even start it.
like a small business.
Right.
Because you don't want that hanging over your head. I got to pay my truck note, but I got to sell all these things. And I don't know, just not smart.
I gotta ask this just because you're from Louisiana. The food situation in the Midwest, are you okay with it?
Yeah,
It's cool.
I mean, I'll eat steak and potatoes. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm from Louisiana, but
We cook a lot of Cajun food.
I cook a
Do
lot
ya?
of Cajun. Like
We'll
our
do the
diet is pretty much-
étouffées and the gumbos and the,
Mhm.
the sauce
So I-
pecans. And
You
Well,
don't
tell
miss
it-
too much.
Y'all got to tell everybody if it doesn't have a certain thing, it's not gumbo. What is it?
never put tomatoes in gumbo.
Never.
Never.
Oh, I thought
Okay.
you were about to say.
No,
Well,
I don't know.
See, I'm from Baton Rouge.
Do you have tomatoes in your gumbo?
My grandmother's
Oh, gosh.
gumbo recipe had both
Stop.
tomatoes and okra.
No.
Now, she was from Kentwood, Louisiana, which is not exactly close to Southwest Louisiana, so I think there's a little bit of
the tomatoes.
the
don't
tomatoes free
I always
zone
tease
we're not a
them
part
that
of.
I'm gonna put tomatoes in the gumbo just to rile them up.
What does it have to be real good?
Well,
Well, it's water and roux is
There
what
you
what
go.
it is.
the roux, yeah.
First,
and
you make a roux, man.
And then you put the Holy Trinity in there, add the Pope, which is garlic, and then you start adding your proteins,
Okay.
which is gonna be
I like a sausage and chicken
like
gumbo.
sausage and chicken.
But you can do a seafood
You
gumbo.
can do a seafood gumbo. You can, and then just getting it seasoned right.
Okay.
There you go.
Good to know.
Taking notes.
I'm
It's not a fish boil. Have you ever attended a fish boil since you've been in
A
Wisconsin?
fish boil.
Exactly.
No, he hasn't.
Y'all got to go up to Door County, go across the opposite corner of the state, go to a fish boil in Sister Bay.
I've heard of this.
You'll love it.
Yes.
You'll love it.
When he says you
Like in a
have to, you
big
really don't have
Black
to.
pot. No, we want to.
For the
though.
cultural experience, you Philistine, you have to do
we
this.
want to go.
I just
Door
take,
County is a place we want to venture
take that
to.
fish and just deep
We
fry
don't
it.
take a lot of trips.
Because
You're busy
doing
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 kids.
But yeah, our trips are mostly within 4 to 5 hours.
Well, 2.5 down to lovely Elgin, Illinois for this podcast.
It wasn't bad.
We appreciate that.
And don't do podcasts and all that stuff because I don't feel like I have anything.
We kind of want to start our own podcast too.
Well,
You
I
have a
think
lot to
that's
say.
One way to do it.
You guys are dealing with real businesses. You know what I mean?
Not sure what you mean by that because this has been one of the best conversations we've had.
Yeah.
Well,
Hands down.
yeah, we can joke and stuff, but I'm just saying
No.
it's we are like this year, 6 years in. This year we're gonna hit our first. This will be our first $1 million year. That is a very achievement for like it's like holy
Yeah.
type from where we were. And then it happened so fast, and where I want to go with this business, and then seeing the guys that you guys have on here, it's like if I knew what they knew, I could already have this business. I could bring this business up, and that's why I talk about when we were talking earlier. It's the business side of this. It's the business side of this. Everyone in this room can build a freaking barbecue pit. I promise you.
Yeah.
Every one of us. But who's great at marketing that barbecue pit and who's good at the business side of it? Like get his costs down to minimum, whatever it is. If it means buying a $250,000 laser well, whatever it is.
Well, that's an expensive barbecue
But
pit.
it's an expensive barbecue
I
pit.
hear
but-
what you're saying though.
and that's why I would turn down podcasts. When people call me up, want to talk to me and stuff, I'm like, you don't want to talk to me, man, because I don't think I'm going to give you what you need to know yet.
So
Talk to me in 5 years.
but I think your honesty in terms of how you got there is actually what people need to hear.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of people think, oh, we'll just roll in, buy this and that, and we'll just
Right.
get it going. And there's a lot of people entering this field that I'm not sure have a deep understanding of just how to do things and how metal reacts to heat, what happens with spring back in a piece of metal.
Right.
And they learned they're learning is costing them money right from the start. Whereas I think the mistakes you made was well within budget.
Yeah,
Right.
Budget.
100%.
So I think there is a certain
Like-
value to it. And everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot, and I think the dynamics are going to change with that laser, because once you have more capacity to
Right.
do stuff
I think
and
so.
word gets out,
Right.
people will come with different requests, and it'll be all different type
It'll
people.
change the way you think about your business. It'll change the way you
sure.
think about your customers and the
Well,
whole-
so like for me,
Yeah,
like
our brains don't stop when it comes to like this tube laser and laser.
I'll tell you
table.
the whole dynamic. Like, okay, so we've got
There's
we've
so
got
much potential.
we've got our product side, right? So there's the Chiasson Smoke products, and then we have our sign shop where we do all these custom signage, and then I want to be like a contract manufacturer. I want companies coming to me saying, "Hey, man," because we turned down a ton of it already
Yeah.
because we can't meet the tolerances with the plasma. And so we turned the work down. We've got an iron worker, so we can maybe punch some holes and stuff like that, but that's not efficient.
Right.
That it's just not. And if this guy wants 1,000 of these parts with a little bend over here, and then he needs a square hole over here, I can draw it up, but we can't hit the tolerances. And so
Right.
now fiber, hopefully, will do that. And then I want to market that side of things,
Yeah.
and that's the side of things I like, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I like press brakes, and I just like the forming. I like all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because our old processes, man, was we draw it out and measure it and say, okay, let's cut it here. Then we got CNC.
Relief lines and
Put a relief line
welding
right there.
the whole relief lines.
It's like, oh, that's
blending
not
the
quite
weld.
big enough.
You describing, welding those panels on your smoker.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm trying to just get
It's
in my head.
exhausting, just-
Well, fixturing the damn thing as you're
Yeah.
trying to do it just
Oh
kind of
yeah,
makes
thank
overwhelms
goodness for
me.
fireball squares. I'll tell you that much right now. I learned that the hard way too. I mean, but it's we went through a process of just learning
Yeah.
on our own on that stuff.
On our own, yeah.
Like the
It was
spiral
Jason-
staircase. Like we've done spiral staircases, like custom spiral staircases, like huge 7-foot diameter spiral staircases. And I rolled the handrail all the way up this thing with a Harbor Freight tubing roller. Yep, and I'd have 4 or 5 of them on the ground when it was all said and done. But I got
That
the
sucks.
one right. It's like, oh, don't go that much. Put a little mark right there. All right,
Yeah.
all right. How's it going? And you got you're trying to figure out how much twist you need every foot to get. You know, there's machines that'll do that for you. By the way, but here I am. So
Pretty quick.
pretty
We'll try.
quick. But look, I'll spend those 3 days and like I've gone through it.
You don't know how the material is going to react, so it's almost like feeling your way through
What
it.
you mean? You know after you do it. You're like, oh. Like you know right away. Like, oh, it don't like that.
Hence the 4 or 5 pieces of scrap on the ground.
Yeah. It didn't like that one. No, but yeah, now we do. Like, especially like my first gate, when I pulled the first, because we didn't have fabrication tables. I was on concrete floor. So I built our first gate. It's a cantilever style gate, 24 foot long, and
In a
30 foot
30
long
foot
shop.
garage or shop, yeah.
And I pulled that thing up. That thing looked like a banana. You know, just learning. And it's like, what happened here? And then when you put your sidetrack on, you don't realize that there's a little twist in the bottom. So now your guide rails don't
Quite line up.
And what's funny is I go to places and I see gates and I see these things and I'm like, wow, they must not have had a fab table either. And then, but it's installed and they probably made money on that job. For me, I didn't. I had to throw that gate away and start over, you know?
Oh, wow.
And and then when it came to the gates, we got into the install side of things. So that's okay, we'll talk about insurances and all that. That's a whole other game. But learning how to install these gates and figuring out the math, the geometry of here we're gonna do bi gates here, we're gonna do cantilever style gates here. That was a whole different dynamic and something that I learned very quickly. This is not what I want to do. So, Chiasson Smoke will never have a gate company division in it. We'll do some we will
We
build
can
a
build
gate.
gates.
We will build you a
We'll
gate.
build gates.
But
We're-
you better
we're
get
not
your installer to come
installing
pick it up.
Let's see. It's
get
like
another-
you have a formal business plan right now.
And,
You know what you want to do and what you don't want to
We're
do.
Because I
outsourcing
learned
the
from it.
installation. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, that
100%.
goes to another company.
Because then the service calls come in, and you'll get a service call for a spider web over a photo eye, and you get out there and they're like, it just won't open, and you get out there, photo sale 2, and you go over there and there's a spider web in front of it, so you gotta wipe the spider. It's not for me.
that's
Not-
like back to being on call.
I like
Right.
the
Oh,
yeah.
fabricating. I like the fabricating side of it, but you pick up your gate at my shop and you go install it.
Get out
God
of
bless
here.
you. Get out of here.
So we will not be doing that.
Well, I think to piggyback on what Dan was saying, I think these are the type of conversations that our audience wants to hear, like getting in the ground up, and kind of figuring out those growing pains.
They do. They want to hear it because they need to hear it. They need to hear how two normal people with some big ideas and some real know-how went out and actually made a living doing this and are building a business into $1 million enterprise. That's something a lot of people think about doing as they're working for someone else.
Yeah.
They never quite have the guts to do it because they're not quite sure what
Yeah.
to do first. They
And
just
I
don't know.
I want Chiasson Smoke. Like, I want that to be a brand, that is like guys like have on their, like, hey, I have a Chiasson Smoke pit out here on my back deck, and then there's Chiasson Smoke Industrial that is making all these parts for some guy that invented something over here, and he needs 5,000 brackets bent and made, and then we're supplying that. We're doing that stuff too, and we're doing the custom sign shop, and then we've got our annual barbecue competition, and it's in my mind. It's just I got to implement it, and it's nonstop, and it's busy, and because I gotta make videos every day too. So,
That too.
and then we can't forget about editing and posting, and
Yeah, you got kids too.
and we got kids.
Yeah, let's not forget about work-life balance.
There you go.
There ain't no work-life balance right now. There's not. I'm sorry. There right now.
It's hard, yeah, because we're really trying to push some things, and
Oh yeah.
we still
The
have
kids the kids got babysitters. We take care of. We spend our time with them, but I don't. She doesn't like that mentality, and then you talk to a lot of people that don't like that mentality. But for me, this is hustle time that more than it's ever been.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I back off a little bit, it's just gonna
crumble.
crumble.
That's what he thinks. You could just be gone tomorrow. I'm like, I think you're okay. It's not gonna be gone tomorrow.
But
could be.
we've got a lot of people that make a living working for us, and I want to take care of it. Like, there's a lot
Right.
riding on laziness, and I don't want to be lazy. It's never, if you're waiting on me, you're going backwards, is what I always say all the time, and and I feel that way.
Yeah.
Like you better keep up, and I have to do that for not only the guys that help us in our business, if I'm gonna grow this business, and then cleaning up the mess too. Like, no nonsense. I told you earlier, you show up late people watch our videos and it's like, oh my God, I'd love to work for you guys. I bet you it's so fun until they get to meet me.
And we are lax in many ways. Like we have fun in the shop, But there's a point where it's like
Yeah.
we're serious. Like we have to get this done.
Yeah, the whole work-life balance thing, bro. That's a conversation. I'd probably make some people upset about that.
Nah, I think people that work for themselves, they struggle with it. It's easier for people who work for other people to talk about work life because the work is not their work. You know what I mean? Their name's
At
not
the
on
end of
their
the
name's
day,
not on the building.
They're not thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not usually thinking about filling quotas.
Right.
Thinking about how to please a boss, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's something
Right, 100%.
but the whole thing that you were saying about making the most of the opportunity right now,
Yeah.
I heard that loud and clear. Like, this is the time to really buckle down and make
Right.
the most of this.
Right.
You're getting you're investing in new capital equipment. You've got your eye on more of the same, but like bigger and better, because now you've got more equipment. Now you've got bigger capabilities, and you want to make the most of this moment.
Yeah, because I grew up very, very poor, and it's just one of those things. It's like, I am not gonna let this slide just because I wanted to take a break. Like, I'm not, like, it's not gonna happen. As simple as it is, we joke about it all the time. As simple as it is, handrails and barbecue pits. But I'm gonna I'm gonna hit this thing with the sledge as hard as I can. See if I can get her to move.
There you go. No time for fish boils.
Well, might go to a fish boil, but you want to
I'll
talk
go to
about
a fish
how do
boil.
you make those moves, right? How do we do stuff like this? Well, you hire people, and you make a team, and you find the right team, a team that's that's as excited and as driven
Right.
as you are.
We're talking to you, Colton.
Yeah, Colton. Yeah, he is though. Him, Amber, they see the uniqueness of what this is. You know, there are millions of small shops out there that do exactly what we do, but they don't market it. You know, they don't do the marketing side, and I know why, because it's the financial stuff. Because you're not making the money that you need. So social media is free.
Yeah.
Like, post on social media daily. I don't have time. You just told me that you're trying to get more work. What do you mean you don't have time?
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to. Yeah, I want to get more work, but I don't have time to post on social media. Because you're so busy with work? No, I want to get more work. Okay, so those hours that you were going to accommodate all that new work, social media is now your work. Yeah, but I don't get paid to make social media. Oh, you can get paid. Put in the work.
Yeah.
Do it. I go to bed like it's midnight, and I mean, there's some stuff with it because that's my best time to like go through videos, because we just I'll set up a camera like that. I say a phone.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah,
shop.
I'm like, what camera?
And I
We
can
don't have
take,
these.
I can take like the power of editing. I can take the same clip. I can turn that into the most inspirational clip. A guy could just be welding. I can turn that into inspiration. I can turn that into, text on screen where it's some sort of a sad moment. If there's something going on in the news that I want to be, because I know it's gaining attention, I want to get some of those hashtags in there to get people to check us out. I can use that same clip, but editing takes a long time, and you're just constantly looking at that. And during the day, I don't have time to like just sit around and edit all the time. So if I can get a little bit ahead of it, the next day I can post my 3 videos like I want.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's all aspects of the business that some people don't realize
Yep.
that they maybe need to attack.
Well, in the shop, we've got 7 welding machines. The biggest is the 255. All Miller. I don't know why. I've just always done Miller. I've been a Miller guy. I've had no problems with Miller.
You live in Wisconsin.
So their machines are good, and their machine do work. We have an Iroquois 48 by 100 ton press brake, and then we have an old Dryson Crump 25 ton mechanical
Okay. Wow.
press brake.
Big one.
And yeah, we've got 5 by 5 fab tables, and a bunch of we've got 3 2x3s, like little stations, this little welding station for parts. Ellis drill press, Ellis bandsaw,
Boss CNC plasma table.
2 Boss CNC plasma tables.
Will you keep the plasma once you get the laser?
I don't know I don't think I will. I'm gonna keep them because we're so comfortable with them.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna keep one of them for sure. Well, maybe just for a little while, you
Yeah.
know, just while we're getting used to everything, and
Sure.
then
Yeah.
we'll.
And gain the
Make
trust that we have. Like, we trust our Boss tables,
Right.
Because we know what they will do.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get comfortable with this, and once we're comfortable with this, because I want to be able to cut. Like, we'll do it with plasma, but with plasma, you get a tip up or something like that in the middle of the night. But I want to be able, like, when we shut down at 5:00 in the afternoon, I want that we're loading a sheet and having a file ready for the next day. So when guys show up, there's already, like, I want, like, these robot arms.
Yeah.
Boy, I better not get a hold of one of them, because I'll still figure out.
Don't go to FabTech.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. No.
Now
but
we know.
because I'm always thinking of, like, how can I make things happen while I'm going to sleep,
Mm-hmm.
and how can I do it? And it's tools. It's tools, man. It's tools. You get your guys to come in, take care of those tools, and like I said, it's always
Yeah. No.
just trying to think
That's
of how
the
to,
path you head down the further you get into it.
Yeah.
What kind of laser are you getting?
It's a small laser. You're not gonna be very impressed. It's a 3 kilowatt.
No, but it's
Uh,
get started.
So Smoke CNC.
Yeah, it's
Smoke Ranch CNC.
It's not like Trump laser or anything.
We're not Trump
at
lasers,
that
guys.
level.
Not yet. Not yet.
You know, it's just one that they get from
Shipped over and
bring
they
it here.
represent it and train it, and
Yeah.
We get training built in. And,
Yeah. How
There you
big's
go.
the table gonna be?
5x10.
Okay. Wow.
It's the same as
Decent size.
and a 24-foot laser.
and a 24-foot tube laser.
Okay.
Sorry,
All
two-
right.
And he runs Jason. What's his name?
Jason, Smoke Ranch CNC.
Smoke Ranch CNC is the guy. He runs one in his shop. He's a shop just like us. And I see the benefits of changing to like I see it. It's like duh, you know. And so he has one. He runs one, but he doesn't have the work like we have for it. You know, he builds. He does his fire pits. He does some custom works and stuff like that. But we could keep a tube laser running all the day and cut and shut down all of our outsourcing for that and bring it all in house. And like I'll sit down with a crayon and a pencil and do the numbers, and it just makes a little more sense, you know. It just makes a little more sense to bring it in.
You do you, man.
There you go.
Exactly. Hey, we had a viral video go out. Someone asked me, well, who does all your engineering or something like that? And I showed them my Lego set, and I had a smoker built out of my Legos, and I was like, well, here, like, don't put a lot of pressure here. You know, Legos fall over. I'll put some reinforcements on that one. But
And don't actually cook in this because the Legos don't last.
just engineering. But, boy, that was a change. Once we got into SolidWorks, holy cow. That eliminated so much of the trial and error.
What were you doing before?
Try,
Oh, that didn't
No
fit.
kidding. No kidding. Wow.
That didn't fit very good, did it? So, like, we would draw it up. Yeah, we could draw it up and say, well, all right, let's bend this at 45 degrees. We want it to finish the outside. So there's formulas. You guys know that. You know, you get into K factor and you're trying to figure out, okay, where should this bend line be? How should we what's the radius? What dies are there? What punches? Well, you know, everything. And it was just trial and error. I was like, well, let's just do this. A lot of guys say you just subtract material thickness, and so when guys say that right away, even on social media, like, yep, you don't know, you don't have a clue at what you're doing. Like someone told you that you were probably doing gutters or something, and they said, oh, just subtract material thickness will be good. Yeah, but make sure it fits where it needs to fit. Go ahead. Yeah. Subtract material thickness, and SolidWorks is just, you know, I took the class. I literally got the program. Took the class, and when you talk about CAD work, I had none. Took the class. Well, I had some, I guess.
you're not. He's not great with a computer, but he's getting better.
I'm not good. That's what holds me back, is I'm not good with the computer, because it's not something. Grew up on a dairy farm. It just computers weren't something I messed with. Yeah. So when it's the simple, those are aspects that make us a good team too. Is just. She can get in Canva and have me a flyer made like this, and I get in there, and I'm like,
just doing what I do, you know.
No, but you go with your strength. Go with your strengths, right?
Yeah.
You do.
Someone calls and like, hey, I need a sign. I want this and this and this. And she's like, okay, we'll have some proofs for you. Give us a couple days, you know. And she is just like that because she's done it so much. And
cool.
So with SolidWorks now, like I can make these parts and I could draw these parts when guys stop in. We have a local guy that he rebuilds like old lawnmowers and stuff like that, and he always stops in and he'll bring these old brackets, and he don't walk quite like that. He don't walk quite like that, but you know he'll have a part. Can you make it? And I'm like, yeah, man. So I draw it up and send it to the table. Colton cuts it out, and you know we can scribe the bend lines. So I just put bend lines where they need to be. He'll scribe them. So he just goes, you know, and he'll just bend it for him, and yeah, it's fun. We're having fun. We're doing stuff.
We're learning.
We're learning.
A lot.
There you go. I think we've learned a lot.
We have learned a ton. This has been fantastic.
I think that's a good
you.
segue. Thank you, Jason Miranda
Yeah.
of Chiasson Smoke. Thanks for wearing your nice jeans today.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed it.
We appreciate it.
Best pair.
If you have any questions, comments, criticism, complaints, send them to podcast@fmamfg.org. Thank you. Bye.
The Fabricator Podcast is a production of Fabricators and Manufacturers Association. located in Elgin, Illinois. The show is hosted by Dan Davis and the staff of FMA Communications. The podcast is produced by Gareth Slager and recorded and edited by Griffin Hammond and Dana Weicker. Sales support provided by Andy Flando. Additional production support by Elizabeth Gavin, Mike Owens, Billy Culpa, Pat Simon, Brandon Geyer, and me, Sarah Spring. Email us at podcast@fmamfg.org. Thank you for listening.
Maybe the spirit of Skippy's here.